Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today I'm talking about why the New Orleans Saints are going to win the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 57. This is a series on the channel I've been doing where I'm going over a lot of the Super Bowl contenders this year, or most of the series contenders, talking about reasons why I think that they can or will win the Super Bowl, and this video is about the Saints. The Saints had a pretty decent season last year, even though their starting quarterback did get injured in Week 7. And I'm really excited for this video because I think the Saints are very underrated going into the season because of their final record last year. But I think that they have a lot of potential. I think they have a lot of really good players, and I think they're going to do well. So let's get right into it. First off, we have Alvin Kamara. Obviously, he's the workhorse of the team. He's the backbone of this team now that Drew Brees is retired. And in his just 73 career games, he has 7,500 scrimmage yards and 67 total touchdowns. There's not a whole lot of players that have that in their first 5 seasons in the league. He has 5 Pro Bowls in those 5 seasons, and although it's not all rushing yards, there's a lot of mix between rushing and receiving yards. He technically hasn't had an 1,000-yard season yet, which doesn't really matter. But a lot of people, I think, underestimate Alvin Kamara's abilities, and I think that he's going to have a great season this year coming up once again. He'll have his first 1,000-yard rushing season if he's not suspended. Now, that's a big thing if he's not suspended. I think that if the Saints make the playoffs, and then I think that they can make the playoffs if Kamara is gone for 6 games, as long as he's with them for the playoffs, I don't see a big issue with him missing a few games due to a suspension. It's not as bad as an injury, and I think that it's not going to be a big deal overall. But it is something that you need to keep in mind when thinking about the Saints this season, because obviously his suspension will mean that they'll probably lose a few extra games, or the suspension could be pushed to next season. And if it is, then I think that there's no way they don't make the playoffs, and I think that they have a serious team that can seriously do well this year. Next point I want to bring up is Jameis Winston, the starting quarterback for the Saints. He was the starting quarterback last season, and he got injured in Week 7. But as he started, he was 5-2. He was 95 of 161 for 1,100 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions in those 7 games. Not a lot of yards per game, but it's a different offense than he had in Tampa. He had 5,000 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 30 interceptions in Tampa the last year that he was there. Last year he had way less yards, but he had more touchdowns a game and only 3 interceptions in 7 games, which is definitely an improvement for him. I think that the yardage doesn't matter as much if you can get the yardage from somewhere else, like the running game, but the touchdowns and the interceptions and the pass rating, that shows that he's better at being a game manager. That shows that the Saints offense is clearly working for him, and the fact that they won 5 of their 7 games, even though he only threw for 1,100 yards, is impressive. I think that this season, obviously, he'll throw probably a little bit more than last year, but I think that his touchdown-to-interception ratio might stay pretty similar. I think that if that worked for them last year, they're probably going to try and keep a similar offensive scheme, especially at quarterback, to help Jameis Winston do what he can do, and that was all without Michael Thomas. I think that one of the key factors this season is the fact that Michael Thomas is back from injury for the first time in a year and a half. He missed all of last season, and he only played 9 games in 2020. Michael Thomas is one of the biggest offensive weapons on this team, arguably the biggest offensive weapon. I still think it's Kamara, but you never know. Some people say it's Michael Thomas, who was the number 1 wide receiver in 2019 before he got injured in 2020. Michael Thomas got the record for the most receptions in an NFL season. He had over 1,700 yards. He's always been one of my favorite players. I had him on fantasy his rookie season, and I've loved him ever since. And he can do anything. He can catch a deep ball. He can do a slant. He can be a slot receiver. He can catch it out of the backfield. And a lot of things about the Saints offense is that they're all very versatile. You have Alvin Kamara, who can catch and run. You have Michael Thomas, who can catch anything. And then you have Taysom Hill, who is a tight end, a quarterback turned tight end. I believe he was a wide receiver in college or something. And he has a massive contract, but he can do anything on their team. He'll go out on the field, and you never know if you're going to get a designed run, if you're going to get a pass, if you're going to get a run, if someone's going to pass it to him. he could punt it and then return it himself for a touchdown or something. I don't even know. They'll think of something to do with him, but he's always a major part of this offense, whether he's a starter or he's just kind of on the field somewhere. You never know what Taysom Hill is going to do, and that also adds an extra threat to the offense if you have multiple quarterbacks who can throw the ball well, who can run the ball well, who can catch the ball. Like, you can put anyone out there, and people don't really know what's going to happen on the Saints because all their players are so versatile. Deontay Harris, who's the kick and punt returner, another fantastic player that adds a lot of depth to this team. He is a first-team All-Pro selection from 2019, where he led the league in punt return yards and punt return touchdowns. The last couple seasons, he's still consistently had a lot of good returns, averaging at least 10 yards per return and 27 yards per kick return. So Deontay Harris is another addition to this team that makes them a very versatile team. And I think that the fact that the NFC doesn't have a lot of great teams and the Saints have such a phenomenal core of players that can do a lot of different diverse roles on the team is a major impact on this team's ability to do well this season. On defense, the big three are Marshawn Lattimore, Cam Jordan, and Demario Davis. The Saints have a lot of strong defensive players, but these are the big three who have been with them for quite a while at this point. The Saints defense was top 3 last season. They were number 3 in points, and they're probably pretty high in yards as well. The Saints are always a top defense because of how Sean Payton's coached them, and I think that even without him this year, they're still going to be a top defense in the league. Other big names on the defense are people like C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who they got recently, and there's not a lot of big names, but there's a lot of role players. The one big name they did get this season, though, was Tyrann Mathieu from Kansas City. Multiple-time Pro Bowl, All-Pro, free safety from the Kansas City Chiefs. And he also knows what it takes to win championships. He's been on the Kansas City Chiefs. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He won 1. He played against Tom Brady in a Super Bowl. And I think that the fact that they added him to this roster is a major thing for this defense. This already top 3 defense just added another safety to their lineup, and their offense got stronger last year. I can't see this team not making the playoffs. I can't see this team not getting 10 wins. I think that the Saints are easily going to be a 10-win team, maybe 11 or 12, depending on if they can win some games, like maybe the Tampa game, or if they can win some games against good teams. But I'm excited to watch the Saints team play. They have a lot of good talent, a lot of young talent, a lot of people who hopefully will be there the whole season. I really hope Kamara can be there for the whole year, not only because it's fun to watch him and I root for him, but also because he's on my fantasy team and I want to get points. But yeah, the Saints team is impressive. It's really impressive. If Drew Brees was on here, I'd say Super Bowl bound immediately. But Jameis Winston's still a great quarterback, so very excited to see what is going to happen with the Saints this season. Hope you guys are too. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.